the story of a brave and courageous soldier who remembered the stars. In the heart of World War II, on the cold and muddy battlefields of Russia, a soldier named Nikolai Petrov served. Nikolai was a simple, dreamy young man who, before the war, had lived in a small village near Moscow. He loved the peaceful nights of the village and gazing at the bright stars in the sky. At the front, Nikolai would stare up at the heavens every night before sleep, counting the stars. It gave him peace and reminded him of home and family. One night, lying in his trench, he recalled the nights he'd spent with his grandfather in the fields, listening to ancient tales of stars and Russian myths. Nikolai's grandfather was a man with white hair and bright eyes who had countless stories to tell his grandson. He had fought in World War I and had bittersweet memories from that time. The grandfather had sparked Nikolai's interest in astronomy, teaching him that each star represented hope and dreams. To Nikolai, he was not only a grandfather but also a teacher and guide. Through his stories, his grandfather had taught Nikolai never to lose hope, even in the most difficult of circumstances. His grandfather always said, "Every star has a story, Nikolai, and every story holds hope for a better future." A few days later, as Nikolai's unit was retreating, they came across a large swamp. The wooden bridge they needed to cross had been destroyed. The commander told the soldiers to turn back and await further orders. But Nikolai couldn't accept being idle in such a situation. Remembering his grandfather's words, he looked up at the stars. In that moment, a brilliant idea came to him. Nikolai approached a few of his comrades and presented a plan to build a new bridge. His comrades were a diverse group of individuals with different backgrounds. There was Ivan, a strong and fearless man from Siberia who was always joking and lifting everyone's spirits. Then there was Andrei, a quiet and introspective man who loved to read. Andrei studied military maps and always had new ideas for escaping the enemy. There was also Fyodor, a skilled marksman always accompanied by his rifle, who protected the group during conflicts, and Natasha, the only woman in the group, who served as a nurse, tending to the wounded and offering hope. Using wooden planks they found nearby and ropes made from their tents, they began building the bridge. It was hard and dangerous work, but Nikolai, with his strong hope and determination, led his comrades. After hours of tireless effort, the wooden bridge was ready. After building the bridge, Nikolai and his comrades arrived at a small town that was under siege by German forces. The town's inhabitants, mostly women, children, and the elderly, were suffering from hunger and fear. The commander tasked Nikolai and his group with rescuing the people. This was a very dangerous mission. They had to cross minefields and were within range of German forces. However, Nikolai and his comrades bravely accepted the mission. Andrei prepared a detailed map of the area and found a safe route to the village. Ivan, with his rifle, protected the group. And Natasha, with a backpack full of medicine and food, was ready to help the villagers. After several hours of arduous trekking, they reached the outskirts of the village. In complete silence, they approached the village. Houses were destroyed, and smoke rose from them. Nikolai and his comrades quietly entered the village. The villagers welcomed them with joy. They gave Nikolai and his friends food and water and thanked them. Nikolai and his comrades stayed in the village for a few days and helped the people. They tended to the wounded, repaired damaged houses, and distributed food among the people. During this time, German forces attacked the village several times. But Nikolai and his comrades bravely defended the village. Using guerrilla tactics and explosive traps, they inflicted heavy losses on the German forces. Finally, the German forces were forced to retreat. Nikolai and his comrades had successfully completed their mission and saved hundreds of lives. The commander was deeply impressed by Nikolai's courage and initiative and praised him for saving the lives of his comrades. After the war ended, Nikolai returned to his village. He was welcomed as a hero. Nikolai continued farming, and every night, he would still gaze at the stars, remembering how hope for the future and learning from the past had helped him of.